History is the greatest teacher. Let's learn from history. There was a king called Croesus who became known as Midas to the Greeks. He was a king of Phrygia, which was Troy, Turkey, in the ancient times. What he did that made him remarkably wealthy, and famous for that, is that he drew all the gold in circulation that was the agreed upon custom of circulation, gold coins. He required them all to be brought to his treasury, and he was giving the people who gave them 10% at the end of the month. That was the deal. He wanted the money in, and you get 10% at the end of the month. So he took all the gold, he melted it, and he put in brass cores that took 90% of the weight and gilded the outside with 10%. So he multiplied the money in circulation by a factor of 10. So if there was $1 million or $1 million drachmas in circulation, we now have 10 million. So he gives back the original donors their 1 million plus 10%, which is 100,000, and he keeps 8.9 million. So it won't take long before he gets the rest, right? You can't beat that sort of power. So what happens is he builds great big things. He spends it into the economy. He spends it into the economy. He builds palaces and temples and tributes to himself and statues and harem and sports grounds and coliseums and events, gladiatorial events, and the people love him, the punters love him, bread and circuses, and they're getting jobs twice the wages that normally get, working for the king because the king's the man. But what happens is about a couple of years later, things start to fall apart, they go wrong. There's no food, there's no education, because all those jobs, which are the real economy, not money, but the real economy is stuff and events. The real economy has been neglected, so food's not there. The crop wasn't sown and harvested, so the granaries were empty, and the fish weren't caught and dried, and the houses weren't mended and maintained and built, and the kids weren't educated. So all these things which add up to what an economy is, a society and its events and complex interactions, has been neglected in favour of the cash, the money, and what that represents. So there's massive amounts of money in circulation, but there's no loaf of bread to buy. That's called hyperinflation. And so what happens? The king decides, well, I've got a real problem here. I know what? A war on the Greeks. Yeah, we'll blame the Greeks for our problems. Propaganda goes and does that. The dirty Greeks, they're on our land. God gave it to us. It's ancestral. It's in the holy books. We've got to go and get the land back. And so they do, and they take their resources, and all of a sudden there's some stuff to spend the overinflated currency on, so it begins to work again, and we've got some slaves under us now, so everyone rises up a social peg. Well, a bit better now, and he's a conqueror. He's a great conqueror. Yahoo! Until the same thing happens next time, and then the expansion's a bit larger, and that's what's been happening through history. It's become larger and more abstract, and that's where we're at. It's the same paradigm, unless you're repeating. Parable number 2. A bloke in New York, got no money, knows how to do pizza, knows how to cook pizza, wants to get a pizza restaurant going. What he does is he issues his own pizza money. His name's Giovanni. His name's Giovanni's Pizza. And he issues currency, good for pizzas at his place, at $100 a pop. He needs $1 million to get this thing started. He gets it. He pimps himself well, spruiks the cause, and people buy them. He's not even offering a percentage, just a bit of feedback. And he does it. Now, any person was entitled to some sort of, a bit of a pro rata share if they put in some big money, or, pizzas to the value thereof. No one's ever come in several years of trading, and the restaurant's booming, no one's ever come to collect, because those notes were considered valid currency by every person, and they're out there trading. They're doing jobs as medium of exchange. They're being money. So he got to build this thing, and people got currency which represents a real event. That's what we need to see more of, and this is where it's going. In a world of open source, shareware, and Linux systems, the decentralization of big, powerful concentrations of pyramid power, we're seeing the Ponzi scheme break down. We're seeing people changing governments by social media. We're seeing open source shareware everywhere. Let's have an economy that is that. Let's have an open source shareware fractal economy instead of this necronomy. Thank you very much. That's what I'd like to talk about. Cheers.